Hello everybody. In today's video, I'm going to talk about a sort of foreign country. Foreign in the specific fact that um, I'm not from the UK. I've never been to the UK. I don't really know anybody personally in my real life that is from the UK. I mean, I do, but not like every fucking buddy. I don't have like direct relatives. I have friends, but not relatives. Exactly. Um, but I do know people from the UK. I do know people who live in the UK. It's not a good situation. Okay? And this country, if you're from the UK, may or may not exist soon. And you might go, yeah, that's kind of obvious. Isn't it like the UK basically just a union of 4 different countries? Yeah, to be fair, that's what it is. But, like, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that union might not exist anymore. Meaning that your country that you live in, especially if you're from Scotland, it's gonna go to shit. Or England, especially England and Scotland, you know? Wales and Northern Ireland, not so much, but especially if you're from, like, England, bro. Because, let's be for real, when people say UK, what they really mean to say is England, okay? But Scotland, they're really patriotic. Like I don't know like anybody personally from Scotland, but like people from Scotland, at least from a foreign view, if any of my UK viewers are watching, you can let me know how your country's working out. But like they're really patriotic, like really patriotic. And for some reason, a lot of the indigenous UK people, you know, uh, the natives, in other words, native Caucasians, yes, believe it or not, Caucasian people, specifically European Caucasian, from over there, the British, native British, they exist, okay? Indigenous British people exist. They've been around for hundreds, maybe even thousands of years, depending on your genetic line. But even still, they've been around for a long, long time, is what I'm saying. Alright? You get the idea. Anyway, UK is in a bit of a shit situation. Like my nigger. It's really bad, isn't it? Yes. Yes, it is. But what are you gonna do about it if you live over there? If you live in this country? Excuse me for saying the words or whatever, since you're probably watching a VPN from this video. I don't know. Because it's declared as hate speech over there or whatever. I'm from America, so that's not really a thing here. Like, there's a concept of it, but it's more of like in fiction or in like certain countries. It's not like a real thing over here. Because there's just no law for it, so it's basically almost fictional, in a way. What are you gonna do? It's not like you can say it because your law won't let you. Now, if I was control of the UK, I would let you say it. I would let that law go. I would especially allow the criticism of your own country's government. And for some reason they look at the UK flag as racist. But I think that's only really because they want to like basically I'm a bit of a history buff, but basically how this works is either one of three cycles generally happens. Either this basically is nothing and there's nothing really to worry about and it was just like a weird time like the satanic panic or something. Two, this is something to worry about and this turns into like balkanization or something like that. Or three, it could go down into war. War, balkanization or not. So you'll see these groups that are like they could have been discriminated in the past or whatever, But then they'll start discriminating against everybody else. They'll start going, oh, we need to make this group or these groups better. We need to be this way or that way. We need to be more open to this or that. And modern day, at least, a lot of the big things that make it very obvious on which side is, at least extreme, like who's publicly showing their extremeness. It's the people who say in your country and in mine, we're on the right side of history. If you constantly see a radicalized extremist constantly say we're on the right side of history, or even just anybody who has any beliefs at all, political or not, if anybody says that constantly all the time, oh, we're on the right side of history, unless they're talking about historical stuff that already happened. If they're talking about stuff that's currently happening, or if it's related in some way to the current day, or they say, oh, we're on the right side of history, like a lot, or at least just enough where you constantly notice it, yeah, they're most likely not. And even if they were, they're probably not going to be remembered, because there are a lot of people who would have won wars, who would have been the good guys in history. But guess what? They ain't remembered. As in, like, remembered to the general public. They might be remembered to history buffs because, well, they're history buffs and historians, obviously, because, well, they have to know who are the losers, because sometimes history is told by the losers. Because that's how sometimes they were, they even knew about the existence of that war, where they ones lost so bad that they were the ones to tell the story, It was like, be poor and crappy now and be rich and great later. That was basically the get rich quick scheme, but historical edition kind of thing, if you know what I mean. But anyway, back onto the UK. It really sucks, man. Like, you have these whoever from whatever country, coming in, people who refuse to assimilate. And even if they are assimilated, they're still causing crime because they don't learn, hey, raping people is bad. Hey, fraud is bad. Committing fraud is bad. Raping people is bad. Murdering people is bad. Doing this, what a lot of these groups are calling it, they're calling it honor killings or like jihadist stuff. Like, yeah, we have that idea in the States, but it's like, what's up with this Sharia law stuff? Like, I come from Michigan, the most Muslim majority state of the country. That's where I'm originate from. I don't exactly live there, but I mean, like, I'm from there, is what I mean. But, like, they have those kind of people. They're extreme, sure, but it's really one specific town. It's not an entire country. So, if you're from the UK, can you please explain that to me, or at least explain it to people who are unaware of that? Because why are they taking so much control? And these people who are, could have gotten a better life, could have been, trying to fix their country and their land in the place they can understand, And then you also have these people that are like 4th, 7th generation, whatever you want to say, 6th or 7th generation. 6, 7. But whatever. Anyway, these people don't assimilate. They don't fit into the culture that their parents put them into, and they don't fit into the culture that the country that they're in, or the country that their parents come from. So you get this weird freak out. And then homelessness. People who have been a citizen their whole lives. in the UK are not going to get a free hotel room. But then a person who has nothing to do with your culture, who just so happens to be there, who's a criminal, goes in and, gets to get the hotel, gets to get a place to live. Don't you see how that could quickly turn into xenophobia? Don't you see that what you're doing is causing the problem that you're trying to get rid of? Anyway, yeah, if you're from the UK, or if you know something of a similar country, regardless if you're from this country or not, if you're from something similar, or if, say, you actually are from this country, let me know what I missed, let me know what I got wrong, and yeah, fill in some things if you want to fill in, but outside of all that, yeah, that's all I got for today, and just remember, stay ugly.